the American Sniper movie. I mean, you were a part of that. Do you feel it was indicative of like what you wanted to put that out there as a book? Was it as good as you were hoping for? I mean, that exposed Chris's story to a whole new audience. And you know, I know you were involved and Taya was involved in trying to make it as accurate as possible.
Well, you know, I was deeply involved. I mean, that whole thing I was very concerned about because Chris was still alive at the time that we made that deal with Warner Brothers. And so, but Chris was in a place in Texas where he's like, Scott, you play with Hollywood. I don't want to talk to them. I don't really want to deal with them, whatever else. And so I was kind of the guy that was in charge of going up there, getting a hold of people. The producer that I chose, Andrew Lazar, and then from there, Bradley Cooper, which is a very strange choice to play Chris Kyle. And Bradley and Chris had one conversation with Bradley Cooper. And it was a cell phone conversation that I patched it in on a 3-way because I had talked to Bradley several times. And Andrew Lazar, the producer, and Jason Hall, who I also chose to do the script. Jason knew Bradley well. They were both in recovery. They both are very open about the fact that they've been sober for a number of years, and they both knew each other, through those kind of channels. So they were very close, Jason and Bradley. And so I talked to Bradley, and a few times, and I'm like, look, dude, I don't mean to be rude. You're the People magazine 3-time best looking man on earth. You are Hollywood. I said, you are about to play one of the roughest men I've ever met. And I know a lot of SEALs that are flat pipe hitters, that are rough men. I said, you've got to come completely outside your world to really play this guy right. You can't be Bradley Cooper. You've got to do it. And let me tell you something. It was the best choice that we ever made. We got him on a phone call with Chris. It was a 3-way, and Bradley's like joking around and Chris is joking around. And so the decision was made. Bradley was going to play Chris. And let me tell you something. He not only bought into it, he became it. He became an offset. When we were on set, whatever else, that guy spoke in a Texas drawl the entire time, Chris's voice. And he would tell me, he'd say, look, you're one person that's here that knows Chris just about as well as anybody on earth, and you tell me every time I say something that he would not have said. And he became that person during that entire period of time while Clint was directing that movie. During that, that entire period of time, he became Chris Kyle. It was almost like a ghost because at the time, Chris was dead.